Welcome back to Barbecue Ideas. Today what we're going to do, we're going to roast up a nice prime 4-rib roast. So went down to the local butchers, asked them to bring me a nice piece, French trimmed, beautiful piece there. What we're going to do today is going to roast that, quite a high roast, 240 degrees, for about 15 minutes just to get the heat in. Then put it on a slower cook for 160. So for today's marination we're going to use garlic, some Texas spice, salt, cracked pepper and oil. I'm going to heavily thick that on there. We want a nice crispy bark on there. We're actually going to cook it as you see it here, laying down, bone on the bottom. The fat will then drip through the meat, and then that'll be accompanied by some nice fried mushrooms, tomatoes, peppers, onions, and then the fat that will dribble down actually quite nicely into the roast potatoes. As you can see, it's got a real thick coat in there of the salts, the pepper, the rub, the oil. It's a big piece of meat, so to penetrate the flavours through you need to put plenty of salt in there. So we've marinated the meat, it's ready to go inside now. So what we're going to cook today, we're going to cook on some nice big charcoal lumps and also some olive wood to add a bit of smoke. What I've done in the master build, I've actually layered it in, smoke, coal all the way through, so you get plenty of heat, not too much smoke, but generates a nice flavour for the product. So we look inside the master build now, so just put it in. As I said, cook earlier, we're going to cook it at 240 degrees, only for about 15 minutes. The most important thing is it's really going to kind of sear in that flavour. We're going to reduce the temperature down to about 160 and leave it in there. Really want the internal temperature to hit around about 60 degrees. It'll give you a medium cook. Some of you may want it so medium to rare, about 55 degrees, but certainly don't want to go more than 60, because when you rest it, the temperature will actually rise back up again about another 5 degrees, and that'll give you a good medium cook. We're 15 minutes into the cook, been cooking at a steady temperature of 240 degrees. We're actually now going to lower that temperature to 160 and just leave it in there. You'll see underneath I've put a tray. This is to catch all the juices. It's got a bit of oil in there, and just the beef juices. What I'm just going to do is roast a few potatoes in there, probably in about an hour or so time. So at this stage what we have to do, we've got our probe, place it straight in the centre of the meat, and that's it. We do nothing until it hits the desired temperature. So the beef joint has been now cooking for 2 hours on the 160 mark. So we'll put the potatoes in. We're just going to have a quick look at the internal temperature. It's sitting around 45-46 degrees, so a good hour left. But let's have a quick look at it. So on top I've actually garnished a bit of rosemary on top of there. I'll take them off at the end, but it's just adds an extra little bit of flavour. You see the potatoes cooking in the juices, so they come out quite tasty. As we only have an hour left, I've got the second fire started, so we will be frying up on this one. We'll do the mushrooms, onions, tomatoes and some peppers. And what we're actually going to do, because I like mine more of a medium to rare, we have the option of more of a well done. We're actually going to slice one of the tomahawk steaks off and actually sear it back on the grill. So you can see we've got an internal temperature of 58 degrees, slightly lower than I first thought when I was going to take it out, but I think it's time. We're going to remove the meat from the cook and allow it to rest. The temperature will still rise up. I will then slice into it and then place it onto the other grill. So I've covered the meat with tin foil. I've left on top of the master wheel while it's still got hot temperature going through it. It just allows it to rest well without it cooling down too quick. I will leave that a good 15 minutes before I open up again. So the meat's now been resting for about 20 minutes. Internal temperature went up to 63, so just about now slice. As you can see, that's a very good medium. Loads of juice still coming out of that. Nice colour. Still tender. Beautiful.
That smell, man. Now butter, garlic butter, isn't it?
Yeah, 65. That's well done. That's medium to well now. Yeah, even in the thickest bit. So I just want to put a little bit of butter on both sides, and that's ready to go into. You don't want to dry it out. So